Reaching 500,000 miles with your car and still avoiding big repairs is an amazing achievement, but it doesn't just happen by luck. It will take and need for you to exert effort, discipline, and proper care for every part of your vehicle. But the good news is there are specific things you can do to make it possible. So, in this video, we'll share with you 13 specific habits that can help your car last 500,000 miles and still run strong. Let's get started. 1. Change the oil every approximately 3,000 miles or every 12 months, whatever comes first. One of the most important habits to keep your car running up to 500,000 miles is changing the engine oil on time. You have to look at oil as the lifeblood of your engine because it makes sure all the moving parts are properly lubricated, keeps the engine from overheating, and helps reduce wear and tear over the years. Without fresh oil, friction builds up, heat increases, and parts start grinding against each other. Over time, old oil also breaks down and gets contaminated with dirt, carbon deposits, and even tiny bits of metal. So, when you continuously skip oil changes, this sludge builds up inside the engine, which can cause poor performance, higher fuel use, and eventually, complete engine failure. So how often should you change it? The safest rule of thumb is every 3,000 to 5,000 miles if you're using regular oil, and every 7,500 to 10,000 miles if you're using full synthetic oil, still depending on what's written in your car's manual. To put this into perspective, if you drive an average of 12,000 miles each year, you'd need about 2 to 3 oil changes per year with synthetic or around 3 to 4 times with regular oil. An oil change usually costs $40 to $75 for conventional oil, or $70 to $120 for synthetic at most shops. While it may feel like a regular expense, it's far cheaper than the thousands of dollars you'd spend on an engine rebuild or replacement if the engine fails. In other words, changing your oil is one of the best investments you can make for your car's long life. On top of that, there are a few extra tips you should follow. Always check your dipstick at least once a month so you know the oil level and color. Don't wait for the oil warning light on your dashboard because by the time it comes on, damage may have already begun. Also, never mix different types of oil since they're designed with specific additives that don't blend well. And don't forget to replace the oil filter every time you change the oil since the filter also traps dirt and debris, and skipping it can cause dirty oil to circulate right back into your engine. 2. Change your transmission oil around every 60,000 miles, or about every 6 years, but don't flush the system too aggressively. Just like your engine, your transmission also needs clean, fresh oil to work properly. Transmission oil, which is sometimes called transmission fluid, is what keeps the gears, clutches, and all the moving parts inside the system lubricated and cooled. Without it, friction builds up, heat rises, and the parts wear out much faster. Over time, the fluid itself starts to break down from constant use, losing its ability to protect and cool the transmission. So, if you keep driving with worn-out fluid, you'll notice signs like slipping gears, rough or delayed shifting, and in the worst cases, total transmission failure. And when that happens, you're looking at repair costs of $3,000 to $5,000 or more, which is one of the most expensive repairs you can face. That's why staying on top of this maintenance is so important if you want your car to reach 500,000 miles. The recommended schedule for most vehicles is to change the transmission oil every 60,000 miles or about every 6 years, whichever comes first. But here's where you have to be careful. Not all transmission services are the same. Some shops may suggest doing a complete flush, which pushes high-pressure fluid through the system to force out all the old oil. While it sounds thorough, this can actually do more harm than good, especially in older cars. If your transmission already has buildup, a flush can break loose debris and end up clogging the system. A better and safer option is a drain and fill service, which gently drains the old fluid and replaces it with fresh oil without the risks of dislodging gunk. The cost of a transmission service usually falls between $150 and $300, depending on the vehicle and shop. It might feel like a lot for fluid, but compare that to thousands of dollars for a new transmission, and you'll see why it's worth it. Also, another smart habit is to check the fluid condition from time to time. Healthy transmission fluid should look bright red or pink and have a slightly sweet smell. If it's dark, brown, or smells burnt, that's a red flag that it's overdue. 3. Replace the coolant, antifreeze, regularly, roughly every 50,000 miles or every 5 years. Coolant, also called antifreeze, is one of the unsung heroes of your engine's longevity. Its job is to regulate temperature and keep the engine from overheating in summer and prevent it from freezing in winter. It circulates through the radiator and engine, absorbing and carrying heat away so everything stays within a safe operating range. But the thing is, your coolant doesn't last forever. Over time, its protective additives wear out and the liquid starts to become acidic. When that happens, it can slowly corrode metal components, damage rubber hoses, and eat away at important parts like the radiator or water pump. So, if this is left unchecked, deterioration eventually causes overheating, and sadly, it is one of the quickest ways to destroy an engine long before it ever has a chance to reach 500,000 miles. That's why replacement is critical. A safe guideline is to replace coolant every 50,000 miles, or about every 5 years. Some newer cars advertise long-life coolant, but sticking with this schedule gives you consistent protection and peace of mind. Now, when it comes to cost, a professional coolant flush and refill at a repair shop will usually set you back $100 to $150, while doing it yourself with the right tools and a drain pan might only cost $40 to $60. The important thing to remember, though, is to always use the specific coolant type recommended in your owner's manual. Mixing the wrong type can cause the liquid to thicken or form sludge, which blocks passages in the cooling system and creates even bigger problems. It is also smart to check your coolant reservoir once a month. If the level is low, it might mean there's a small leak, which should be fixed early before it gets worse. Also, keep an eye on the color. Coolant should be bright, green, orange, or pink, depending on type. If it looks rusty, dirty, or cloudy, it's time to change it. 4. If your car uses a timing belt instead of a chain, replace it around 60,000 miles or between 7 to 10 years to avoid expensive engine damage. A timing belt isn't something you look at often, but it's one of the most important parts inside your engine. Its main job is to keep the pistons and valves moving in perfect timing with each other. If that balance is lost, the engine can't run. The problem is, when a timing belt breaks, it doesn't just stop your car, it can instantly cause major engine damage. The pistons may slam into the valves, bending or breaking them, and that kind of internal damage usually leads to a repair bill anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, or in some cases, a total engine replacement. This is why manufacturers recommend replacing the timing belt on schedule or around every 60,000 miles or every 7 to 10 years, whichever comes first. While it may seem expensive at $500 to $1,000 for the job, it's far cheaper than dealing with the massive costs that come if the belt fails unexpectedly. Many mechanics also advise replacing the water pump at the same time. Since both parts sit in the same area and doing them together saves on labor costs and gives you extra peace of mind. Additionally, what makes the timing belt tricky is that it often fails without any warning signs. Unlike tires that wear visibly or brakes that squeak, a belt can look fine one day and snap the next. That unpredictability is what makes this maintenance so important. 5. Keep spark plugs in good condition. Spark plugs may be small parts, but they have a huge role in how your engine runs. Every time you start your car or press the gas, the spark plugs create the spark that ignites the air and fuel mixture inside the engine. Without a strong spark, your engine won't run smoothly, and over time, worn plugs can lead to poor fuel economy, rough idling, hard starts, and even engine misfires. So while ignoring them might not kill your car right away, but over thousands of miles, it adds unnecessary strain to the engine and reduces its lifespan. The good news is spark plugs are not very expensive, and keeping them in good shape pays off big. Most cars today can go about 30,000 to 100,000 miles before needing new plugs, depending on the type. Copper plugs wear out faster, while platinum and iridium plugs last much longer. Replacing all your spark plugs usually costs around $100 to $300 at a shop, or even less if you do it yourself with basic tools. Compared to the fuel you waste and the damage caused by running on old plugs, this is money well spent. Also, to be able to keep your spark plugs in top condition, always follow the replacement interval listed in your car's manual and have them checked if you notice rough starts, weak acceleration, or lower gas mileage. It's also smart to replace spark plug wires or coils at the same time if they're worn, since they all work together. Think of it like giving your engine a fresh set of matches to keep the fire burning strong. 6. Replace the fuel filter every approximately 50,000 miles, or around every 6 years. Your engine depends on a steady supply of clean fuel to run smoothly, and that's where the fuel filter comes in. The filter's job is to catch dirt, rust, and debris from the gas before it reaches your engine. Over time, though, the filter gets clogged, which restricts fuel flow. When this happens, your engine may struggle to start, lose power during acceleration, or even stall out completely. And driving with a dirty or blocked filter also puts extra strain on your fuel pump and injectors, which can shorten their lifespan and lead to costly repairs. That's why it's smart to replace the fuel filter about every 50,000 miles or roughly every 6 years. Some modern cars have lifetime filters built into the fuel tank, but for most vehicles, a filter change is still a necessary part of long-term maintenance. The good news is, replacing a fuel filter is not very expensive because it usually only costs between $50 to $175 at a repair shop, depending on the car. And if you're comfortable with tools and have the right safety equipment at home, you can even do it yourself for much less. This habit may feel very simple, but it can definitely go a long way in protecting your engine and keeping your fuel system healthy. Clean fuel means better combustion, smoother performance, and less stress on major components. You see, your fuel filter is your car's first line of defense against dirt. And yes, it may not look as important as the huge car part, but skipping its service could stop you from ever reaching that 500,000-mile milestone. 7. Replace brake fluid every 3 to 5 years to keep braking safe and effective. Your car's braking system is something you should never ignore, and a big part of that system is the brake fluid. Brake fluid might look simple, but allows your brake pedal to control the brakes at your wheels. The problem is that brake fluid isn't sealed off completely. It slowly absorbs moisture from the air over time. Once water builds up inside the fluid, it lowers its boiling point, which means under hard braking, the fluid can heat up and create air bubbles. When that happens, the pedal can feel soft or spongy, and your car won't stop as effectively. That's not just bad for your vehicle, it's a major safety risk for you and everyone on the road. This is why experts recommend replacing your brake fluid every 3 to 5 years, even if everything seems fine. Unlike worn-out brake pads that squeak or grind, bad fluid often doesn't give obvious warnings until it's already affecting performance. If this gets ignored for too long, the moisture and dirt in the fluid can also cause rust and corrosion inside the brake lines, calipers, or even the ABS system. Fixing those kinds of problems can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, compared to just $80 to $150 for a brake fluid service at most repair shops. Just look at it as a small investment that keeps your system clean, responsive, and much safer in the long run. At the same time, if you want to stay on top of it, you can do a quick check yourself. Pop the hood and look at the brake fluid reservoir. It should be clear or light yellow. If it looks dark, dirty, or sludgy, it's definitely time to replace it. And even if it still looks fine, don't wait beyond that 5-year mark. Staying consistent with brake fluid changes is one of those little habits that adds up over time. It not only protects your brake parts from early wear, but it also keeps you safe on the road. 8. Replace brake pads and tires as soon as they are clearly worn or making noise. Brake pads and tires are parts of your car that take on the most stress every single time you drive. Brake pads create the friction that slows your car down, and tires are the only part of your vehicle that actually touches the road. Over time, both wear down, and when they do, your safety and your car's performance take a big hit. Worn brake pads can make a squealing or grinding noise, while worn tires may lose traction, making it harder to stop or control your car, especially in rain or slippery conditions. When you ignore either one, it is already a gambling to your safety every time you get behind the wheel. On average, brake pads last about 30,000 to 50,000 miles, while tires can last anywhere from 25,000 to 60,000 miles, depending on how you drive, the quality of the parts, and road conditions. Replacing brake pads usually costs $150 to $300 per axle, while new tires can range from $400 to $1,000 for a full set. It may feel like a big expense, but worn pads can damage the rotors, and bad tires can lead to accidents or blowouts. In the long run, replacing them on time saves you from bigger, more expensive problems. It's also important to pay attention to the signs. If you hear squealing or grinding when braking, or if your tires have uneven wear, low tread, or bald spots, don't wait any longer. Get them replaced right away. 9. Regularly replace windshield wipers. A lot of drivers don't think much about their windshield wipers until they really need them. But the truth is, if your wipers are worn out, even a light rain can turn into a dangerous situation. Streaks, smudges, or missed spots on the glass can block your view, and in heavy downpours, it can feel like you're driving blind. That's why clear vision is one of the most important parts of safe driving. The good news is, keeping your wipers in shape is one of the easiest and cheapest things you can do. Most blades need to be replaced every 6 months to a year, though they may wear out sooner in areas with strong sun, constant rain, or snow. A new set usually costs only $20 to $50, and most people can swap them out in a couple of minutes without any tools. Considering how important they are for safety, it's a very small effort with a big payoff. Now, if you notice they squeak, leave streaks, or skip across the glass, it's time for a new pair. Also, don't forget to keep your windshield washer fluid topped up so the wipers can do their job properly. 10. Service the differential and transfer case, if your car has one, by changing their oil every 30,000 to 50,000 miles. A lot of drivers don't realize that the differential and transfer case need maintenance too. These parts control how power is sent to your wheels, especially when turning or driving in tough conditions. Inside, they use special oil to keep the gears protected and running smoothly. But over time, that oil gets old, loses its strength, and can no longer protect the gears properly. If it's ignored for too long, the result can be grinding noises, poor performance, or even complete failure, which is one of the more expensive problems you could face. That's why replacing the oil in these parts is so important. The usual schedule is every 30,000 to 50,000 miles, but if you tow, carry heavy loads, or go off-road, it's best to do it more often. Getting this service done normally costs about $100 to $250, which might sound like an extra expense, but it's very cheap compared to the thousands of dollars you'd spend if the differential or transfer case failed. 11. Avoid aggressive starts or heavy towing beyond what's advised. The way you drive your car every day has a huge impact on how long it will last. Quick, aggressive starts or sudden hard stops may not seem like a big deal at the moment, but the stress adds up over time. Also, when you slam the gas pedal, the transmission, engine mounts, and drivetrain are all forced to handle extra shock that shortens their lifespan. The same goes for heavy towing that goes beyond what your vehicle is rated for. The transmission and cooling system take the brunt of it, and that can easily lead to expensive repairs long before the car reaches high mileage. The best thing to do instead is to drive smoothly and within your car's limits. Accelerate gradually, let the engine warm up before pushing it hard, and avoid carrying loads or towing more than what's in the owner's manual. These small choices reduce the wear on critical parts like the transmission, suspension, and even the brakes. Think of it as saving your car's strength for the long haul instead of burning it out early. From a cost perspective, being careful with driving habits is basically free. You don't need special tools, new parts, or service appointments, just a little patience and discipline behind the wheel. On the other hand, ignoring this advice can hit your wallet hard. A failed transmission can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000, while replacing worn suspension parts from rough driving can easily run into the thousands. So basically, doing safe, smooth driving is one of the easiest and cheapest ways to keep your car still running well past 500,000 miles. 12. Keep the undercarriage clean by wash off dirt, salt, grime to prevent rust and corrosion. We're almost done with our list now, and at number 12 comes something a lot of drivers overlook, which is keeping their undercarriage clean. The underside of your car is one of the easiest places to forget about, but it's also one of the most exposed parts. Dirt, road salt, and grime build up under there over time, and if you don't wash it off, that mix can slowly eat away at the metal. Rust usually starts small, but once it spreads, it can weaken the frame, suspension parts, brake lines, and even fuel lines. Left alone, corrosion underneath your car can turn into repairs that are not only expensive, but also unsafe. That's why giving your undercarriage a good wash every so often is a smart habit. If you live in a place with snowy winters where roads are salted, rinsing the underside regularly is even more important. Even in warmer areas, mud, dust, and road grime can trap moisture, which speeds up rusting. A simple spray with a garden hose or going through a car wash that includes an undercarriage rinse can go a long way in keeping things clean. Keeping the bottom of your car clean directly affects how long your vehicle lasts. Rusted brake or fuel lines can fail suddenly, and fixing a corroded frame or suspension part can cost thousands. On the other hand, spending a little time or $10 to $20 at a car wash to rinse off the undercarriage helps prevent all that damage. That actually makes a big difference if you're aiming for your car to reach 500,000 miles without major issues. 13. Stay on top of any recalls and maintenance notices. Even if it seems small, fixing issue early often avoids bigger costs later. Here we are at the very habit you should practice on our list, which is staying on top of recalls and maintenance notices. So, when your manufacturer issues a recall, it's not just a suggestion. It means they've found a problem that could affect your safety, performance, or the long-term health of your car. Ignoring it, even if the issue sounds minor, can snowball into serious damage down the road. Something as small as a faulty sensor or a weak bolt can trigger chain reactions that end up costing thousands to fix or worse, put you and your passengers at risk. The best part about recalls, though, are they're almost always fixed for free at authorized dealerships. That means there's no reason to put it off or wait until later. The same goes for those little maintenance reminders or service notices you might get. They might not feel urgent at the moment, but following up right away often prevents bigger, more expensive repairs. Think of it as stopping a leak before it becomes a flood, which is way cheaper, quicker, and worth every second of your time. So, as we close out this list, remember that hitting 500,000 miles without major repairs doesn't come from luck, but instead, it comes from discipline and attention to detail. Also, every habit on this list, from oil changes to keeping your undercarriage clean, works together to protect your car from the slow wear and tear that destroys engines, transmissions, and safety systems over time. Also, if you stay on top of these steps, you're building reliability, saving thousands in repairs, and proving that with the right care, your car can truly go the distance. The road to 500,000 miles is possible, but only if you commit to these habits starting today. We hope you find this video helpful, and if you're dealing with other issues with your car, let us know by leaving a comment below. We'll gladly cover that next here on Fix It. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming tips.